What's up, guys, and welcome back for another EVE Online video. I'm going to be showing you how you can make a profit with industry without actually leaving Jita and acquiring everything here and selling everything here. And one of my favorite things is not having to wait to fill buy orders or have to wait to get rid of inventory. So a lot of this is possible by actually just, building yourself like kind of a standard of how you do things and building tools around how all this works. And we'll talk about scaling and how you can actually scale income. But we're going to start with some pretty low end items here. So the item we're going to be looking at today for this is going to be the small processor overclocker rig, and we'll be looking at how we can actually make these and make them to fill buy orders to make almost an immediate profit. Now, a lot of this is going to come down to like how many runs you do and, kind of speculating the market a little bit, but also logging how much your break even is. And so if you do decide to run like 30-day runs for all your BPOs for a certain thing, when you come around to it in a month, you can see exactly what buy order price you need to kind of sell at. So right now, small processor overclocking unit ones buy orders are about 155.5K, and then sell orders are about 179, which we're not going to worry about those. We're going to be targeting getting our inventory sold to buy orders so we don't have to wait. We can fill about 372 here. And now let's go and look at the material cost for one run. So we're looking at material cost being 124, about 120, I would say about 125K. Now, let's bring up my spreadsheet here. This is my industry spreadsheet. Let's go and do a refresh on this and kind of show you what we're looking at here. So this is my character's sales tax that we have to worry about. This is our product, this is our run, and then this is how much each run would cost us for our job cost. And then we also have our ME in here, and then we don't have a structure roll or rig bonus. And then we'll also be selling to buy orders with zero markup in Jita 4.4. So let's go and look at this. Our product value is 155.5, which we just saw here in the buy window, and then our total material cost is 125,000, so about 125,000 net on this and all that good stuff. This is actually the 52-week low for the rig itself, which is 150K, and this is the 52-week high. So we're looking at about a 24,000 profit on this, and that's about a 19% profit margin with that. So what we're doing here is we're using a loot explosion or a blueprint explosion to show all of the materials coming in, and also we're calculating the ME, so we have a good idea of exactly what we actually need. These material values are actually pulling from buy orders in Jita, and then also over here I have a nice little log here, so I'll put in the item name and then whatever our break even is. So what usually at the time of manufacturing, I put in the net material value. So when I go around to sell these, I look for a buy order that is at this or greater so that I am in the black for all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of walk through the process here, and I'm going to go ahead and make like one or so, make a little bit, but we're going to, kind of illustrate our profits here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the wallet here, and we're going to actually deposit all of our funds into the corp wallet. So we have 0 ISK, and then we're going to withdraw $1 million. The reason, not 10 million. The reason we're doing this is because we want to illustrate the actual profits on this. So it can be kind of hard to tell when you build your spreadsheets for manufacturing. Trust the math, right? You don't get too wrapped up in all of it. So we're starting at $1 million. Let's look at what one run will cost us. So what we need to do is we need to take this 852 ISK value right there, and we'll make sure that it's a representative here in our spreadsheet. Now, I always run multiple BPOs for when I'm trying to scale something, because I'm not wasting any time on copying them or cost on copying them. So normally I would come in here on this one BPO and look at 3 runs. Instead of doing 17.3, right, I'm going to go and just, run one copy. For this experiment, we're going to run one run for each one of these BPOs. But this is 1703 for the total cost, and so what we're going to do in our spreadsheet is we're going to change the run number to 3, and it shows a little bit higher for if we ran it on this one. So this would be like our 852 times 3, about 25.6. And whenever you see like a discrepancy like that, you kind of want to look into it a little bit. So let's go down here and look at the one run on that, and then we'll see what our one run here. So yeah, it's a little bit cheaper if we do it all in one run, but we can do it in half the time or a quarter of the time. Because like 3 runs would be like 40 minutes, whereas one run would be 13 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and run on 3 different BPOs here, and that will give us a more accurate picture. It's a little bit more on the job cost, but it should be fine. If you don't have to do it this way, but just to kind of speed things up a little bit, that's how we're going to do. Let's put our wallet down here. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to buy materials. So 24, which is checking that. We're going to go quantity 3. So we're looking at, 374, 375K for that. So let's go ahead and look at this, 376, well within margins. So we're going to go and buy those, and we're good to go. Now we're going to just start these runs on all 3 of these BPOs. Rigs are always like really nice to kind of do this with. They have pretty good volume. The other thing you want to look at too is like volume of like, how much stuff is moving on the market as well. It's not, you don't really want to build a whole lot of stuff, a lot of volume that might take you a while to kind of offload. That's why when we're looking at these buy orders that we're filling, we could fill quite a bit of them. But we're doing low runs right now just to kind of illustrate the profits here. So we're down to 622,000. So the reason we kind of like started at that 1 million is so when these get done being made, we will immediately sell them to the top buy order here, and we'll see our profits. As long as we're over that 1 million, it shows that our tools are working, and then we can just scale based on that. I usually do a lot of checks and balances for this stuff along the way, but that's why I have the log in here too. So if I did come in here and just run like 30 days worth on all 3 of those, that'd be like that'd be a little over 9,000 units. I would just, come back in a month, I would see what my break even is, see what the current market is, and then if I can sell them for a profit, then I will. This means that I can, go and use this sheet to do other things and to, build other stuff, but I still have, the break even value for that inventory item kind of sitting here and everything. You don't have to sell the buy orders either. You can even come in here. I can come in here and, readjust this for sell orders and make even better profit. But like I said, a lot of like what I do in Jita is I buy materials, I do the thing with them, and then I sell them. I don't like waiting. So as long as I make profit, then I can just use my capital to scale. So it's going to take a while for those to get done, about another 11 minutes. But we're going to talk about, other things, in the meantime. So obviously, even if you're running like 10 BPOs for like the small processor rig and you're running them at 30 days, that's still not going to give you a lot of profit. You're going to get good margins, but if you're really wanting to utilize a lot of capital to make, huge gains, you got to have to like get the big ticketed items. So when you're starting off, small stuff like this works. But then when it comes down to like, if you want to do like a 10% return, 10% ROI, then doing something, spending like 10 bill to make 1 bill in a reasonable amount of time is great. And all right. All 3 of those are done, and we'll go and get those delivered and sold so we can kind of close this video out. So now once they actually come out and I just kind of refresh the market here, I can see like those, 372 volume at 155.5, they're still up. So now I can just go in here to these rigs, hit sell item, go immediate. It's going to give me 450 on that. So we're going to sell that, and then boom, there you go. We made a profit of 73K doing that. And obviously this is just an example, a very small volume example, but you can start to scale this out as long as you are tracking the right numbers and you have everything kind of configured. Now, what you probably noticed in the spreadsheet is we have a broker fee set to 0. Now my sales tax is actually set to what my character has. The reason we have broker fee set to 0 is because when we buy materials from sell orders, we don't pay a broker's or a sales tax. And then when we sell the product to buy orders, we won't pay a broker's fee either, but we will pay a sales tax. One thing that I do kind of recommend, like this is like what we did in this video, is just to illustrate how you can buy, manufacture, sell in a very short time frame and still make a profit. I still like buying materials at like 52-week lows if I can, and stock it up, especially if it's, you know, something that I build a lot, or want to scale out a lot and everything. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.